Okay, another one of these opportunities for me to talk to myself and you to get to listen in, because if you're hearing this, you're listening in. So I had a situation this morning when I came in early to do my business, and I realized that I have a certain amount of things that I do that I believe make a difference. And then all of a sudden I asked myself, well, you know they make a difference. You are a different person. But I still constantly question my investment of time, because I'm always thinking I should be doing something else. I should be taking care of this, or doing this problem, or taking care of this other thing. And anytime it comes down to me doing anything that is uniquely and specifically for me, I don't treat it as truth. I test it. And if it's not bringing about a result, then I immediately make myself feel a certain way that I shouldn't be doing it. So I asked myself a question just when I was about to enter into another one of the things that I believe that I should do. Is this truth? Is this true for you? And yeah, it's true for me. Okay, well then treat it as truth. Stop testing it. Stop putting it through a litmus test. If it's truth, then treat it as truth. And what is truth for you? Well, truth is, for me, doing some kind of consistent process that brings me to a state of understanding, or a state of relaxation, or a state of intellectual stimulation. These things are truth for me, and there are certain processes that I know that if I go through these processes, I will allow myself to be more of the person that I enjoy. And then all of a sudden I realized that so much of what I do in my life it's to accommodate someone else. It's to be the person that someone else enjoys, because of my past and the way I was abused and the things that happened. And I hate to keep referring to that, but I'm just trying to understand my own patterns. I figure out what you want, and then I try to give it to you the best I can. And unfortunately, I am tremendous at that. I can figure people out quickly and then give them what they want, and then be disappointed because what they want, they don't even know what they want. And I give them what they want, and then if I don't continue to give them what they want, then they're disappointed. So it's almost like a child with candy. You're like, well, nutritionally, you can't continue to eat this, but I want it. So I'm not doing them any favors. The thing I need to do, and the thing I need to understand, is to change the attitude about why I'm doing what I'm doing. If I'm doing something, I shouldn't constantly be testing it. Eventually, I have to allow my body to relax into the process of doing. So I do Og Mandino's Greatest Salesman in the World books, which were referred to me by a mentor years and years ago. I have zero doubt in that process. It's a difficult process, but I have zero doubt in it. But many times when I'm going through it, I think, oh, should I be investing this time? Well, I'm investing that time for me. So should I be investing the time? Yes. And while I'm investing it, if I'm constantly testing it, then my body's not relaxing into it and getting the entire benefit. That is the whole reason that I'm in the process. The whole reason I'm in the process is to benefit from the process personally. My mind, your mind, all God's mind, all God's children's minds, they got crazy. So what do I have to do? Not we, what do I have to do? I have to understand, if this is truth, treat it as truth. I don't want to live in a state of testing instead of a state of truth. If I'm constantly measuring everything, then my body will never get to relax into anything. Here we go. Nice cup of Rise mushroom coffee. Okay. with my leaner, creamer MCT oil, with my stevia in the raw. Now, that smells good to me. It tastes good to me. I wonder if it is good for me. Now, what do we have to understand? I have to have a moment when I accept that cup of coffee. I have to have a moment when I accept it so I can enjoy the process of drinking it. Sorry, I got my daughter-in-law got me a nice kind of zenny thing. The sun's coming through and kind of giving me that cool look. Look at me, I'm Mike Tyson. Oh, now. Okay, Joe, stop. So there's got to come a time when I enjoy that cup of coffee. I can't constantly be asking myself, is it good for me? 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 A lot of times when we transfer into trying to take care of physical health, mental health, and intellectual health, we can't be in a constant state of measuring. Eventually we have to come to some conclusions. Nothing is pure completely. There are things, thanks to my nutritional nurse, in this cup of coffee that are not good for me. Now she's made me aware of them. Thank you. But the fact is I have to make a choice that when I'm drinking that cup of coffee, I'm not thinking about those few little granulic things that aren't good for me. I'm thinking about the mass of what is good for me. And I need to enjoy that cup of coffee and stop measuring it. If I'm going to do it, then enjoy it. Don't constantly be measuring, because then the body never gets to have benefit. The body never gets to relax into the process. So, why am I doing it? Well, am I drinking this cup of coffee mostly to offset the bad things that I've eaten in my life, or the bad things that I've done in my life? Or, wow, okay, if I'm doing my morning processes and my morning practices, am I doing them mostly to combat something that has happened in my past? Then I'm taking a pill. I'm taking a pill and hope it makes me feel better. I don't want to take a pill. I want to take a process. And I want to enjoy that process for its own benefit. I can't allow myself to do these things in the morning just because I went through something as a child, or I went through something as a teen, or I went through something as an adult, young adult, or no. The things that I do in the morning, the practices that I have, need to stand alone. And I need to enjoy them in and of themselves for my purpose and for my personal existence. So my attitudes about what I do personally for myself need to change. If they're true, they're true. Stop measuring them. If you find out something and it needs to change, then change it. Don't measure it. Don't measure it while you're in process. Don't say, okay, well, I'll see how my blood pressure is later on this afternoon, and then this will be whether that thing worked or not. Sweetheart, I have found out blood pressure is not a great indicator of a lot of things. Trust me. So the thing is, back to the cup of coffee. I'm enjoying this cup of coffee. I've accepted it as truth. I have processed it through, and now I'm having it. I like the taste of it. I like how it makes me feel. It doesn't make me feel, and it doesn't make me feel. It just makes me feel this. So my body can relax into that cup of coffee. I think a lot of times I rob myself of enjoyment, and I rob myself of effective experience because I'm teetering on that plateau of constantly testing something. There are things that I read intellectually that I accept as truth, and they have a great impact on me. There are things that I read and I'm like, I don't accept them as truth. So I'm constantly gauging them. They may cause me to think in a certain way, but it affects me differently. So as you go through your experience, why are you doing what you're doing? And if you are doing it, if you are investing your time, you know the most valuable thing you have is time. So when I go into an exercise and I'm doing that exercise for myself, I guarantee you that exercise I'm doing for myself, I know it works. I know why. That's why I'm investing my time. There's certain exercises that I have my clients do that I don't do. Why? I don't need those exercises. They do. So when that client says, why am I doing this? I'm going to explain to them why they're doing it. And then if they say, do you do this exercise? I'm going to say, no. Well, why don't you do it? I don't need it. So there has to be an understanding that there's certain things that I do in my life that nobody else is doing. I don't need them to do that exercise to validate it for me, just like I don't need to do certain balancing exercises to validate it for them. What a great illustration. Man, oh day. I'm something else. So, if you're going to do something, if you're going to commit your valuable time to it, your valuable effort to it, and it's going to be something that's uniquely for you, don't constantly measure it. Don't constantly worry about, just, if it's truth, treat it as truth. And have things in your life that you are uniquely in your life for the purpose of only your enjoyment, for the way they make you feel, those things. We can't be constantly taking the placebo. We can't be constantly taking the pill. We can't be constantly looking for the person outside of our existence that's going to make us feel better. Good stuff. Man, did I need to hear that.